What's up, guys? Today we are making orange poppy seed muffins. Of course, they're flour-free, grain-free, gluten-free. I'm actually making mini muffins. You guys can make regular size muffins, mini muffins. You could even make this into a cake. It's super simple to make, just a handful of ingredients, and we're using a whole cooked orange. You can also scale this recipe and use several. That we're gonna blitz into this cake, skin and all. It gives it a really intense orange flavor, a really nice sticky crumb, and I think you guys are gonna love it. It's so freaking good. So just a few quick notes before we get started. You can use oranges, clementines, mandarin oranges, blood oranges. All of them would work really well in this cake. And you can also use a food processor or high-speed blender. I am using my best friend, the immersion blender, and a bowl. But I have made this in the food processor before. I just really dislike doing dishes. All right, guys, so let's get started. Now this orange, whatever orange you're using or citrus you're using, you wanna wash really thoroughly because the skin is going in the recipe as well. If you wanna buy organic, it's a good choice, but this is just a regular orange that I washed with some baking soda. I scrubbed really well to get any of the crud out from the skin. Then I cut the top and the bottom off. I put it in a bowl with a little bit of water and I microwaved it for 5 minutes. You have some other options. You can put it in a little pot with some water and boil it on the stovetop, but that takes a bit longer. You can also put it in a pressure cooker. It'll probably be done in just a few minutes, but I happen to microwave this one and it's completely mushy and cooked through, and I've let it cool in the bowl so I can actually handle it. So I am going to transfer this whole orange into my bowl, and maybe I'm just going to cut it in half so that it's a little easier to handle, but it's been completely cooked through and everything is edible. So I'm just taking the immersion blender now and mushing this up. And because there's little bits that tend to fly away if there's not enough stuff in the bowl that you're working with, I'm gonna add my eggs. So I'm adding 2 eggs. And I'm just gonna keep pulsing until everything is combined. That's the other reason why you want to let your orange cool a little bit before you mix everything together, is if you have hot orange and then you add in your eggs, they're going to scramble. So let your orange cool down a bit. Okay, so we've blended the orange and the 2 eggs together. Now I'm going to add some honey. You could also use maple syrup. You could use sugar if you want to. I just don't have any at home right now. So I'm just going in with a tablespoon, like an actual tablespoon, and I'm gonna put in about 2 big tablespoons of honey. Again, you can add more if you like things a little sweeter. You can add less. So I'm just using a whisk now to combine the honey with the orange and eggs. You want to make sure everything is very evenly combined. Now for this recipe, I'm using coconut flour. You can use almond flour. I've made it with almond flour before. but I'm using coconut flour today. And this is a 1/4 cup measure, so I'm gonna just start with a 1/4 cup. And once that's in, I'm gonna eyeball to see if I need any more or less, because it depends on the size of your orange. Some are bigger, some are smaller. You might need more or less dry ingredients. So I'm just gonna sift that in, because I find that coconut flour tends to have these little clumps in it. So I'm gonna sift in the coconut flour. And let's see if we need some more. Yeah, we're gonna definitely need some more. Now, coconut flour absorbs a lot of liquid. So if you let it sit for a bit, it actually thickens up. But I can tell right away that we're gonna need maybe just a little bit more. It's still a little runnier than I would like, although, let's give this a second to thicken up. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. That always helps to bring out other flavors. So the sweetness of the honey, the sourness of the orange. So a few little. Actually, this is thickening up quite nicely. So I think a 1/4 cup is enough currently. And now I'm gonna add in my poppy seeds. And this you really don't have to measure. It's just based on how much you like. And I like a lot. So I'm just gonna pour them in and mix them in. The great thing about this recipe is that it's really flexible, because I almost forgot to add in the baking soda. So I'm gonna add in about a teaspoon of baking soda and make sure that it's really well mixed in there. No clumps or anything. Through, it's completely mushy, and actually, no, I gotta talk about it before. Whole cooked orange that we're gonna, no,